Talking
All
about.
right.
Oh wait, let me.
Yeah, I'll toss this one up. Erislandy Lara versus Danny Garcia. Two familiar names. It's been a little bit of a minute since we've heard them, but 12 rounder for the WBA super middleweight title. Interesting.
I don't
Danny
know.
Garcia.
I don't know if I've ever shared my thoughts on Danny Garcia. That's one of my favorite fighters. One of them, like my top 15 favorite fighters in this current fighting class. He's a guy who never ducks smoke. If you look at his resume, he has names and names and names and names, and he's got the better of those names. I remember him fighting a Keith Thurman. I remember him fighting a now retired Porter. I remember him destroying Amir Khan. I remember him fighting Spence, who had come back after that nasty accident. He's a guy who never ducks smoke. I've always respected his style, his East Coast Philly style. Like, he has a swag to his fighting. Just that he's never had that media darling thing to him where, where he is being talked. He's never, I don't know, maybe I'm getting it wrong, but his media presence I've never felt his media presence. I've never, for a guy who has been fighting big names and winning some of those fights, I think he's only lost like 2 or 3 of them. He lost to Spence and he lost to Thurman. I think that's it. The rest he's won. So what's your take on this guy here?
He definitely should get more respect. Like, when we just throw out names to fight Canelo, why not throw out his name? He's a world-class fighter. He's got a world-class skill set, and he'll always be relevant. Like, he has a chance because of his skill set, you know. So
I've always been a big fan of Danny Garcia. I love his fight style. I love his like I say, he's not ducking anybody, and I really think he's a solid professional boxer. So people that want to get into the sport, watching guys, Danny Garcia is somebody you definitely can watch his game and gain a lot of appreciation for. The biggest thing with this current fight, we have not seen Danny Garcia in the ring in quite some time. I know Lara's fought more recently, but he also has not been as active. So it's one of those things that whoever can get, as far as the fight itself, who can get into their flow faster and make something happen. But I think it's a good matchup, and that's what you want. You want, when you tune into the undercard, you want to see good fights, and I think that's something we'll definitely get from these two.
And it got implications. I think the last time I seen Danny, I could be, my memory's a little foggy, but I think it was Jose Benavidez, and that was Danny's first fight at 54. I don't know if he's fought since then, but I think that's the last time I remember it. That must have been on that other Benavidez. Was that the?
Yep.
Was that on the undercard with Clanton Benavidez?
I think so. This was 2022, July 30th, 2022.
Oh.
He fought on that one. So, like you said, he fought at the 154 weight limit. So, I mean, I like Danny Garcia. I'm always gonna make sure I'm tuning in to one of his fights. Always. I don't know. I think Lara's been to be a little more active. But you've got similar records, 3 losses each. Very experienced fighters, very respectable. Going to be very game. I expect a good fight. So, popping off the undercard with some names and some firepower for sure.
Yeah, like I said, he's a guy that we mentally, because he's in kind of my age category, I still think he's the young Danny Garcia. I forget he's older. He's an older fighter, because I still remember him stepping on the scene, fighting Amir Khan, fighting Zab Judah, and doing so good against these fighters. And it was like that young group that was coming up, the Sean Porters, him, Thurman, who else? There was another person in that mix in that age group. AB, I guess. It was that 34 and 35 year old. They're right there, 34, 35 years old. But now,
So-
like, sorry, you're
No,
saying something.
I'm rambling in my brain. Technically, is this 160 then? Since it's a super middleweight?
Super middleweight should be a one. Actually, it should be a 154 matchup.
So it's 154. So this definitely can set up a Crawford fight.
I mean, it's I don't know. You got
I don't think Garcia's
elder statesman. You got Lara. He's 41, I believe, and Danny Garcia is in his
36.
late 36. Okay.
But look at this belt.
Yeah,
we in the business of collecting belts. Is it a real belt? Like, is it a you know, like, it's so confusing. Is it a belt, or is it a number one contender belt? What do they call it?
It's like it's a glorified belt right here. These, you know, the names are getting them the opportunity on a large fight card, because to come back from not fighting in 2 years and to come back and to walk into a championship opportunity.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia has historically put butts in seats, which we always have to factor in when you're talking about these type of fights. Butts and seats will always matter.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at his resume. I forgot that this guy's fought names from Paulo Malignaggi, the Robert Guerrero, to Samuel Vargas, to Lamont Peterson. Yo, he has a resume. Zab Judah, Eric Morales, Amir Khan, Eric Morales too. No, he is legit. Like, I forgot, because in my mind I still think of his father Angel. You know, I just think of, like, you know, you forget that these guys is old now. Like, yo, Danny Garcia is of the last generation. He's not really with the new fighters coming in. It's interesting, you know, like, Philly fighters, you talk about Boots and all these young guys coming in. Like, I don't know if this may be it for Danny. Like,
so what's the distinction between the regular? It says WBA regular middleweight. Is that the
look?
real
I would
belt?
like the distinction, because I feel like I've looked it up and I've read about it and I still don't understand. So if you could clarify that in this moment, that would be great. But as far as that goes, I'm still unclear about. What I do know is that butts and seats matter. Danny Garcia has historically done that.
Yeah.
On a large fight card like this. I don't expect him to fight much longer. You don't fight in 2 years. Lara's 41 years old. Hey, man, these guys looking for a check. I think we got a good matchup nonetheless. And when you tune into an undercard, all you want to do is see some good fights, man. You want to sit back, have a good brew, and see a good competitive fight, which I think we'll